Hi everyone, I am Ranya and I'm a professional dancer and choreographer, and today I want to talk about feet. Strong and flexible feet are important not only for dancers but for any kind of athlete, whether you're a professional or amateur. I have a lot of women come to my dance classes or to my private coaching sessions, and they struggle with a lot of dance movements, and a lot of the times it comes from them having very weak and stiff ankles and feet. And this is actually quite common, especially if you are someone who never went to a dance class and you are maybe starting out as an adult. This is also very true for people who go to the gym and work out, but we rarely concentrate on our feet. So in daily life, if you go and do a workout because you want to be slim and toned and whatever, the feet is usually not something we concentrate on. However, keep in mind that it's the feet that we are standing on, it's the feet that we use for walking, and if the feet and the ankles are not strong and flexible, if the Achilles tendon is stiff and short, this is going to create problems for you in dance. Especially if you're planning on dancing in heels, which I usually do. I usually dance in high heels. And it doesn't matter if you're using dance shoes or regular shoes. If you don't pay attention to your feet, you will have issues dancing in heels. So unless you have a medical condition that prevents you from wearing heels, learning how to dance in heels or just walk in heels is fairly easy. Of course, if your shoes are very, very uncomfortable to start with, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult to be comfortable in them anyways. But today I will show you some exercises that you can use to strengthen your feet, your ankles, and to make them more flexible. The first exercise we will do is a releve. That is a ballet term and it is French, and it translates to English lift, to lift up, to elevate something. So basically we're just gonna go up on our toes. Now, here is the important part. A lot of the times, if you've never worked out your feet, if you've never paid attention to your feet, you will notice that you might have a tendency for your toes to scrunch. This is not what you want. For any of these exercises, it's important to keep the phalanges, which are the toe parts, to keep them nice and flat. Again, if this doesn't work the first time, that's normal. These exercises are also meant to help you with this. But basically, we don't want this in any of these exercises. Okay, so the releve, let's start it in parallel. So your feet are in parallel. You can try it in turnout. I will explain a little bit what is different for this. But first, we will just do them parallel. Don't stand too far apart. Don't be also too close. Just maybe like a fist width apart. And you will just come up like so. Now, here the most important thing for this is all of your body needs to be engaged in this. So your core needs to be engaged, your leg muscles need to be engaged, your upper body needs to be engaged. And think of being pulled up high. Okay, so don't think of pressing, think as if something is pulling you up, as if by a string. Your knees cannot be bent, okay, so don't try to go up like this, okay, that might cause problems for you. For this exercise, you want to go high up, and up, and up, and up. And if you notice, my toes are firmly on the ground. So where I am bending is from the metatarsal bones, okay? So you want to bend before the phalanges, like so. So what you want to avoid, this is wrong. From this exercise, try to do at least 20. And if you do this well, you will actually tone your bum as well. Because if you engage all your body, you will automatically tense up your glutes. So it's a 2-in-1 exercise. Now you can do it in turnout, which is what we do in ballet training. For the turnout, which is a story on its own, but very quickly I will explain to you. For the turnout, don't try to achieve the turnout like this by progressively opening. Because if you see, my feet are turned out, but my knees are pointing a different way. This is recipe for disaster. So for your turnout, you want to do it in one move, like so. And this will be your turnout. And now you can see that my knees are above my feet. They're pointing the same way. And I am engaging my inner thighs. I am engaging my glutes. And I am not forcing the turnout. If your turnout is here, that's also good. If it's all the way 180 degrees, great. Don't force it. And now in the turnout, you basically do the same. So you're thinking of going high and up and up. And because we're in turnout, remember to keep engaging the inner thighs and the back, because you want to keep the turnout. Okay, if you don't engage them, this is what happens. Everything softens and you're not really working out the muscles properly. Another problem that I often see is sickling feet, which means that you roll your feet outwards and you put your weight outwards. This is also bad. So you might think that, oh, I'm managing to go very high in my releve, but you're actually standing like this. This is very bad. It's bad because you will not be able to execute the dance moves correctly. And once you put on your high heels and you do this, good luck. Again, I cannot stress how important this is, not only for female dancers, not only for dancers who want to use high heels, for any kind of athlete, for runners, for basketball players, football players, anything. Even if you're just going to the gym and you're lifting weights and you're doing squats, if you don't have enough flexibility in your Achilles and in your ankle, you won't reach your maximum potential. So if you want to avoid sickling feet, you can try and do the releves with a tennis ball in between your ankles and keep pushing on the tennis ball while you do the releve. And this will help you teach your body to put the weight more on the inner half of your feet. So kind of the 3 first toes. So your big toe and the 2 other ones, instead of putting them on the outer edge of your foot. Our next exercise is an exercise for your arch. It's an exercise to improve your pointe and your Demi pointe. So in dance, what we call a Demi pointe is when you stand on your toes. And a full pointe is when you fully point your foot. Or you go fully on point in your pointe shoes. But we are not using pointe shoes today. So for this exercise, you will just take a small-ish step forward, like a normal step, as if you were walking, but not a big stride. Okay? So you will put one foot a little bit forward. And now, without bending anything, all of your upper body is fixed. You will put your foot into Demi pointe. Okay, so you see, both my knees are straight. I'm only allowing my leg to work in the hip area, but I'm not changing anything else because we want to concentrate on our foot. So you will go into demi point, and here as well, make sure your toes, your phalanges are on the ground, so you're not scrunching them, okay? This is not the demi point you want, okay? So you want to bend after your metatarsal bones. So bend, and now come. Full point, come back into demi, and down. And you notice that for this exercise, my big toe is fixed in one point. So I am not moving it around, and I am not doing this. We don't want this. This won't work out your ankle the way we want to work it out, okay? So again, you go into demi point, full point, demi, down. If you feel like you have difficulties going into demi and really bending your ankle, it means you made too big of a step, okay? So here it's a little bit harder to have full demi point than here, okay? This exercise, also aim to do it 20 times on each leg, or 10 and 10. You might get cramps a little bit on the bottom side of your feet. That is normal, especially if you're not used to this exercise. It's also normal if you have flat feet, and it's normal if you have not drank enough water, or you might be lacking magnesium. If muscle cramps is something that happens to you very often, then you might look into magnesium deficiency. Otherwise, if you are new to this, you might get cramps. Our next exercises we will do on the floor, and you will need a TheraBand for them. The resistance depends on you. At first you might need a band that has a lower resistance, and of course, as with any exercise, the longer you do it, the more you need to up your resistance or your reps. So with time you might work out to a very hard TheraBand. So you will put your TheraBand on your toes, like so. Make sure it goes a little bit past your toes. This won't work, okay? So it needs to be able to cover your toes, and you will stretch it. And now from here, when you feel like it's a resistance that is okay for you, you will again go demi point and full point. Back to demi and back to flex. And you can let the TheraBand help you flex your foot completely. This will also help you stretching your Achilles tendon. So again, come demi, and you can see in the band that I am in demi point and my toes are fully stretched out, and I'm bending from my ankle. And then from here, I go into full point. I let my toes go back again into demi and back into flex. Again, here it's important that when you're here in demi, you don't scrunch your toes weirdly. This is neither full point nor demi point. This is nothing useful, okay? So make sure you go all the way through demi to the furthest point that your ankle can go, and then you finish with full point. And again, come back, let your toes unravel, because of course the TheraBand will be squishing them a little bit, but you also want to work against the TheraBand, and come back to flex. Important is again that you're not doing it like this, because this won't allow you to fully work your ankle. So you want to keep your knee straight. If you want, you can put your other foot underneath your leg, or you can put a yoga block or a couple of books underneath your calf, and that should help you keep your knee straight and just work through your ankle and your toes. Another exercise is an exercise that concentrates on your toes, and it might feel very weird at first. It might also feel impossible at first if you've never tried this, But trust me, it's not as hard as it seems, and once you will get the hang of it, it's actually fairly easy, but it's a very, very important exercise. So you can either do it with your feet stretched out, or you can do it with your feet on the floor. It depends. Some people find this position easier. Some people find this position easier. I will show you both. So first, what you want to do is go through all your toes, kind of like when you do this with your hand. So you want to roll through all your toes. Then you will keep your big toe up and you point the other toes. And then of course we want to do the contrary, where we will point the big toe and keep the other toes up. Like so. And again, like so. I will show you how to do it when your foot is on the floor. So again, you will try and press your big toe into the floor and lift the other toes, like so. And again, and press your big toe actively into the floor. So press your big toe, lift the rest. And the contrary, press the other toes into the floor and lift your big toe. Lift your big toe. Lift. So you want to do these exercises again. If you manage to do 20 each side and 20 of each, perfect. You can also try and alternate. So you will go point big toe, flex big toe, point big toe, flex big toe. Or you can do them from neutral position, just one. So you can play around. Now we will look into some stretches that you can do for your feet and your ankles. So the first is an assisted stretch where you can assist yourself. So you will take your toes like so, and you will press into your hands all the while bending your toes back, and just hold this stretch. You can also, of course, do this in a fold if you can and if you want to. So you fold and you will stretch your toes back. The next stretch is also an assisted stretch. So you can either have someone else assist you, or you can have a TheraBand and a foam roller assist you. I will show you both. If you have another person assisting you, it should be a person who knows what they're doing. So make sure that that's the case before you have someone assist you. Usually if you go to a dance class, or if you have a friend who is a dancer or a dance teacher, they will be able to help you with the stretch. My lovely partner assisting me with this one. So this is the contrary of the stretch that we just did. So you want to stretch your point. You will point your feet. You will keep everything engaged and your knees straight. And you will have the other person push down on this part. Like so. Okay? Make sure that the person doesn't just push your toes, because this won't help you much. Make sure they don't push just here, because that will not push your point. And make sure that you don't sickle your feet. Okay, so your feet have to be in parallel. Don't sickle them together. And then you give cues to whoever is stretching you, how much is too much and how much is still okay. Now, if you're doing this alone, I will show you how to do it with a foam roller and a TheraBand. I do not recommend you put your feet under the bed or under some piece of furniture, under the sofa. These are healthy ways to do it. These are safe ways. For this, you want to cover your foot again with the TheraBand. And you want to make sure that you cover the toes, and again you cover as much as you can from the top of your foot. And you will take your foam roller and you will arrange it like so. Okay, now here you have the band, here you have your foot. Again, you need your knee to be straight. So this needs a little bit of wiggling around and finding how far you need to go. It will depend also on the diameter of whatever foam roller you have, if it's thicker, etc. And then you want to pull on this and try to roll the roller away from you, and this will create the pull. If you're doing it correctly, you should feel the pull here on the top. You should feel your arch working, and you should feel this part being stretched as well. Okay, again, don't let the TheraBand sickle your foot. You have to keep everything nice and front. And this is how you do it on your own. There's one more stretch slash strengthening exercise that you can do. I quite like it. To do this one correctly, I would say personally it's a little bit advanced. So only do this if you feel comfortable doing your releves without wobbling around. So for this one, you come into a squat and we will come high on our toes. Okay, so already we are in releve, and then you will flip your ankles all the way, still while trying to keep your toes on the floor as much as possible. And come back down and try to put your heels on the floor to work your Achilles. And again, come up and flip. And come back. Now, if after all these exercises and stretches, you feel like your feet are a little bit sore, you can end your foot workout with a little massage, for which you can use a tennis ball or a massage ball like this. Basically any kind of ball, even like a little ping pong ball you can use for this. And it's very easy. You will just take the ball and press down on it and massage your foot. I prefer this one because I feel it does a little bit more for me, but it's a question of personal taste. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and you can also follow me on my Instagram for more content about my life as a dancer and a professional performer in Bahrain. Subscribe! Boop!